Hey guys, Pat Divilly here, excited to be teaming up with the Elevate Foundation in County Clare over the coming weeks to share some simple videos that I hope can inspire you and energize you in the lead up to your exams. So we're going to share some ideas for a healthy body, a healthy mind that will allow you to get the most from the exams and look after any stress or any overwhelm you might be experiencing. So this week we're going to talk about the importance of having a plan. We've got a couple of weeks to go now until the exams, and getting a solid plan in place is going to inspire you with a lot of confidence in the lead up to your exams. So what we want to think about when we're starting with a plan is the idea of the macro plan. That is the overall plan with 5 or 6 weeks to go. What do we need to achieve? What topics do we need to get through? What sample questions do we need to go through? And really think about everything we need to cover over the coming weeks. I would suggest you get pen and paper and you really get as much detail as possible on paper as what you want to get through in the coming weeks. Abraham Lincoln once had a quote that said, if you gave him 6 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. And what he meant by that was preparation is key. And the more time that goes into preparation, the easier it's going to be going through the process. So sitting down, getting clear on what needs to be achieved over the coming weeks is going to instantly give you a bit more confidence, because when it's in our head and we're thinking about all the things we have to get done, it can be overwhelming. We can feel like it's an impossible task. Once it goes on paper, it becomes tangible, it becomes something real, it becomes something that's a lot easier to start working through. And then as we start making a little bit of progress every day, we build confidence because we see that we're going in the direction where we're trying to go. It's a little bit like getting into a car. You wouldn't get into a car with no destination in mind. You wouldn't just drive around aimlessly. You always think about, where am I trying to go? Is it to school? Is it to a friend's house? Is it to the shops? And then as you drive and you move a little bit closer toward the destination, you've got confidence you're going to arrive there. You feel like you're going in a positive direction. So in the same way, once we've got our macro plan, we can start looking at the micro plan. And the micro plan is taking the 5 weeks worth of things we want to get through and breaking it down into smaller chunks. So what do I want to achieve in the next week? For me, I'll sit down every Sunday and I'll think about my goals, my bigger goals in life. And then I'll ask myself, what do I need to do over the next 7 days that will bring me on track for those bigger goals? So for the same thing for you, you take your macro plan of your 5-week plan and you ask, what needs to be achieved this week? You know, what reading do I need to do? What conversations do I need to have with teachers or with classmates? What are the example questions that I need to get through, or the sample questions or the previous papers? And really get clear on what needs to happen in the week. Again, this gives you confidence, it gives you a mission, it gives you clarity as to what you need to achieve in the day. And you're not sat down aimlessly, because I know I've had that experience of sitting down for a couple of hours to study, but not really knowing what I'm trying to achieve, just sitting in front of books and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I'm not getting anywhere. So the micro plan feeds into the macro plan. And the last thing I want you to think about when it comes to each study session is the idea of firstly setting an intention. And an intention is about deciding, what do I want to achieve in the next hour, the next 2 hours, whatever it might be. So as I sit down, again, I'm not sitting down aimlessly and letting an hour or two pass by where I don't feel like I've made progress. I'm deciding before I sit down, what is my little goal? You think about a sports team that go to play a game, whether it be a hockey team, a soccer team, a rugby team. They always go out with intention. They've got an intention to win, or they've got an intention to play at their best. They've got an intention to score goals, whatever it is. But they're not going out there and just hoping for the best. They know what they want to achieve before they go out onto the field. In the same way, I want you to know what you want to achieve every time you sit down to study. Finally, leading on from the intention, when you finish your study session, I'd love for you to reference your mini wins. Think about, what did you achieve? So maybe you didn't achieve everything that you wanted to achieve from the study session, but you have to build confidence by looking at, what were the positives? Okay, so I studied for 2 hours, I got through 2 chapters of a book, I took some reference notes, and I've got some stuff on cue cards now that make it easier for me studying and revising going forward. That could be my mini wins. But again, referencing your mini wins start to take the big plan out of your mind and starts to show you that you're actually making progress. The last thing to think about, and this is kind of a bonus idea, is the idea of your environment. So over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be studying, working through your plan. Think about how important your environment is. Is your environment set up for success? Have you got a study place that's comfortable, that has everything you need? or is it filled with distractions? Having a good study space, having a good environment that supports your goals is going to be huge. Again, it's that idea of preparation, and having adequate preparation is really going to make a difference in the long term. So a couple of ideas here. I would encourage you to take some time to come up with that macro plan, break it down into the micro plan, set some intentions, reference your mini wins every time you study, and set your environment up for success. I'll talk to you next week.